What you sipping on, Joe? Straw's nice and long.
Yo.
Yeah. Let's give a warm New York welcome. Yeah. What is up, my podcasters, my co-hosts?
What's good? What's going on with you?
What's popping on this Sunday?
Man, nothing but football. Baby Giants got their first win.
Woo! Woo! Go Giants. That's America. I mean, New York.
Yeah, America. Yes, this is America and New York.
Oh, shit. Hey, Giants. Shout out to y'all.
What's going on with you, B? How's your week been?
My weekend was good. I went to the Bronx, so, had to go hit up my grandmother, got my eyebrows done.
Nice.
Got all my little Jamaican cuisine.
Nice.
And I had a good weekend. What about you? Got Matt, Joe? What's up, Joe?
Had a great weekend. Me and girlfriend went out.
Mel, take a sip. Matter of fact, look, let me just get rid of this straw because knowing Joe, I just got rid of the straw.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we went down to Florida, hung out with my homeboy and his wife, my homegirl, and we just did like little couple stuff. Just went out. We went to what else we do? I surprised her with her first pair of Timbs because she's from Georgia. Yeah, she was hyped about that. She didn't even know it was coming. So she was like stoked about it. And I was like, that's what's up. So
you're gonna be stomping in the house a different way now.
Yeah, I was like, you went from 5'1" to 5'3", baby. Woo! And it was pretty dope. We had a really good time. We bowled, we ate. We had a good time. It was a nice little drive, a little 5.5 hour drive down to Florida. So
okay.
It was cool, man. It was a great weekend, man. And it actually felt like a weekend. It didn't feel like it flew by or nothing. Like it was like I took advantage of every single moment.
Yeah, that's cool.
B, how was I meant to ask you, how was your new job going?
My new job is wonderful. I'm so happy. The people are wonderful. The atmosphere is just wonderful. No, it's actually good. I'm learning a lot of new things. And like I said, the doctors and the patients and the coworkers, everybody's just like, we all mesh well. So I'm happy. New environment, different type of energy, a positive energy. So I'm all for it. Thanks for asking.
And more money?
Mm-hmm. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
That's what's up.
Yeah, baby. Yes, more money. So
cool. So how about you, Mel?
Inside joke, I don't know that one, but yeah. How about you, Mel?
I am doing good. Everything's good over here.
That's great.
Just diligently, doing things.
Yeah. Y'all look fabulous, ladies. Y'all doing your thing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And today's topic is going to be why is vulnerability important in a relationship?
That V word.
Right.
That V word. It ain't vaginitis. It ain't vagina. It ain't vulva.
Did you say vaginitis?
I don't know. The medical term is just like, that's the first thing I think of, vaginitis. But yes, you want to kick it off, Joe?
Yeah, I could set it off. How many of y'all feel like at what point in your relationship do you feel like that you should be vulnerable to a person and let them know your inner thoughts and feelings? And is there a set time for that, or is there just based upon the vibe you have with a person, or do you not do it at all?
In the past, I have done it. I feel like too soon, and learning from not my mistakes, but learning from my past relationships. I think now I'm going to keep that side of myself to myself until I see it from him first. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah. That's something that I'm kind of like, you're going to have to peel the layers, and there's many layers.
So let me reverse it. So let's say a guy comes in and puts it on you, his vulnerabilities, and is there a time to be too soon about it for him to tell you?
Yeah.
What would you consider to be too soon for a guy to tell you about his vulnerability?
I say, like, if we're still in the dating stage, if we're not like official in a relationship, and it's like the first couple of months, I feel like that's a little too soon. I don't know.
A couple of months?
Yeah, like maybe 3 months. I feel like I love that 90-day rule thing that Steve Harvey came up with. I mean, it's a good measurement. It's not set in stone, but like if I had to put time limit on it, I would say like the first 90 days. I feel like opening up too soon. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust men. Put it that way. I guess my past relationships may have made me feel this way, but I don't know. It depends. It depends on the energy. It depends on the vibe.
So let me just make sure I'm getting this right. It's cool to get the vagina up, but it's not cool for you to tell me for me to be vulnerable to you in 90 days. Yeah. Well, no, that's what it's like.
What?
I didn't say that.
I mean, if you go off the 90-day rule, and if you say 90 days is too soon for a guy to be vulnerable with you.
No, okay, let me rephrase that. Within the 90 days. Within the 90 days. The first 30 days, I feel like you're still dating, you're still getting to know somebody. By like the second month, I think you kind of know, like, let me ask you, Joe, when do you, because I'm a girl, so it's different for me. But for a guy, like, when do you say, okay, this is it. I see a future with this person, and I can open up. Like
for a guy, you see a future with a person? Oh yeah, we had this discussion with the girlfriend, and
look, let me call my bartender down here because I might as well just bring the bottles down with me.
So pretty much what it is that most guys can tell will know within the first 6 months if he's gonna be serious with you or not. Or then.
Is it really that long though?
That's a long time. And you said on my little 90 days.
I'm giving the leeway of time, but it doesn't take that long. You usually know, guys usually will know within the first 2 months, 3 months about it. I was just saying 6 months to give a nice little buffer, for guys that still got other things going on or whatever it is. But usually if you usually know sooner rather than later. So if a guy ever tells you, I just gotta figure out some things and it ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? We pretty much know.
What do you know?
2-3 months. If you're somebody we're gonna be serious with, if we want you to be our partner, you know what I'm saying?
But that's not the topic. That's not the topic. The topic is how long, why is vulnerability important? So how long does it take you to be vulnerable when you after 6 months?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I need to know.
I think what you do is as a guy, I think you kind of measure things. Like you'll be like, okay, this might be a vulnerability. This might be a little bit less, a little bit more than this one. So let me just put this out there and see how she reacts to it. So you got to put things out as not so much like date, but you just kind of feel things out. You know what I'm saying? How she responds or reacts to certain things. I think at some point or another, guys want to be, as especially with how society builds us up. We're not supposed to be weak, and we're only going to be strong, and we're invincible, and we don't have no damn feelings.
I don't think you're invincible.
And I think so. I think a guy would want a woman that he can tell his vulnerabilities to, and so I think with me, I just put little things out there, little by little, and then go from there. And then as we start going along in the process, then start coming out with bigger stuff because you want to be able to establish yourself with your mate first, and then they understand you better rather than be like, boom, this big thing happened. What you gonna do about it? And they haven't even had a chance to learn nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? To understand why things happen the way they did.
So what's your definition of vulnerability, both of you guys? Like, what do you think? What do you consider
something that you
Being
could
vulnerable.
something that could be used against you and put you in a different kind of state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like, that could be it could be used for good and it could be used for bad. And it could be considered mental abuse to that extent. You know what I'm saying? That somebody will take advantage of you and I would consider that a vulnerability.
No, I meant like an example.
Honestly, when I hear the word vulnerable, I always think weak. I just automatically feel like, oh, you're weak. I know that's not like the textbook definition, but I feel like you give in too easy and you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. And you're pretty much putting yourself out there to be hurt or potentially hurt. Depends on who you're vulnerable with.
Right.
So do y'all believe that it's important to have like an authentic relationship? Like, can you have a real relationship without exposing weaknesses?
You can have a relationship without exposing weaknesses?
Yeah, because that's being vulnerable. Like, according to B's definition, vulnerability is like, like a sign of weakness. So in order to be vulnerable, you have to expose that part of you. Right?
Yeah.
So do you think that you could have a real relationship without doing that?
I don't think so.
I never really thought about this. This is good. It's making me think.
I don't think so. I don't think you can have a real relationship without being exposing weaknesses. Because that's what makes it real. You know what I'm saying? Because
what makes it real?
What's a weakness though? Like I can't let's define a weakness. Give me a scenario.
I would give you a scenario. Like, okay, cool. You'd be like, hey, you know what? I've had erectile dysfunction. And you know what I'm saying? And
he got a girlfriend now, so he can say whatever he wants.
Don't worry, baby. Don't worry.
Why you want to have something about you?
It's okay.
You'd be like, hey,
All right, this is an example, people.
That's a good example. I like that example.
As far as a man, because like men, that's what weakness is your penis and your pocket. That's it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
EP. Yeah.
So, you would think that's not something you probably would not lead off with and then relate just beating somebody. And you kind of just put that in the background and maybe you probably already had sex or whatever and you found ways to make it work from that time, but eventually you come to the head like, okay, look, this it's not you, it's me. You know what I'm saying? And then you gotta see what they could do with it and take what are we gonna do with this? And how are we gonna fix it, or are you just gonna just leave me and tell all your friends, baby, man, you know what I'm saying? And then next year, so
okay, that was a good example. I think that should be. I think that's something that should be discussed right after you have sex. Personally, like if we had sex once or twice and this is an issue, then you should say it. It's different levels to it. Like, if you have an STD.
After over 4.
Huh?
We still talking about the erectile dysfunction. Because I feel like that's something that I want to be pre-warned. Because if you wait until like after we've done it a couple of times, like I feel like you're not really into me, and like I'm not doing it for you. Like I'm gonna take it personal. I'm gonna feel like there's something wrong with me. Like,
but that's
like my stomach, the way it's hanging, or something. I don't know.
But like if he tells you before, then you're might be turned off. You know what I'm saying? And it might be good. Like that first couple of seconds might get you off. So, like I wouldn't expose that. Like I would want him to wait. Like at least let's do it. If it's good, everything else leading up to foreplay, the head, everything is good. and it goes limp within a couple of seconds, or you not quick, that's fine.
Mm.
But I want you to tell me like after, like, listen, it ain't you, it's me.
Mm. Or or you could there's that thing if you're a real G, you could be like, hey, let's get you a doctor's appointment and see what's going on.
Because that's something I would do. I've done it all.
Yeah.
I've done it all. Whatever. But yeah.
Just finding solutions, because that's the natural thing for people nowadays. If a problem arises, they don't want to deal with the problem. So if you're supposed to be somebody's mate, you're supposed to be somebody means something to you outside of what's on the surface. That you should find ways to help.
That's internal.
But that's why I feel like prolonging sex and getting to know the person is important, because if you just met someone, you're not really gonna have any type of attachment to them as an individual to be like, I care enough about this person so I'm gonna go with them to the doctor. I'm gonna suggest whatever. Like, and I think that's why people don't like being vulnerable, because when is the right time? Like, you never know. You never know when is the right time to open up to somebody about something that could possibly work against you. And personally, I don't know how I feel about like super cynical or whatever. But I don't feel like vulnerability serves me, personally. Like, I feel like it's about the other person. Like, validating the other person and making them feel special in some type of way, that I'm letting down a wall, or I'm letting down my guard and relinquishing relinquishing some type of power. Like, so that doesn't really serve me. Like, it doesn't serve me to give my power away. Unless I want to like give them a fake vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Like, act like.
All right. So, what's an example of a fake one? Damsel in distress, or is it
like a fake vulnerability? I can't tell y'all.
You can give us like an example of one. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be an actual playbook.
Yeah.
A fake vulnerability would be taking something that doesn't really mean that much to you and telling the person that it's a trigger.
Okay.
And seeing if,
they react.
They try to trigger you.
Okay.
And because it's not a real trigger,
right?
It's not gonna really trigger you, but then you get a chance to see like
if they're gonna use it against you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the ED. No. No, it's true though. Like, Joe, you're right. Like, me, the type of person I am, whether I like you or not, like, I would try to help you. That's just me. And I think that's my vulnerable part. Like, that's me being, I guess, yeah. Like, I will be like, oh, I feel bad for you. Even though I ain't fucking you no more. I feel bad. I'm going to help you for the next chick.
But you're gonna if it works out and you want to try to see if he gets the desired results, you're gonna have to try again.
Yes, maybe not, but because you might be turned off. Like, that's like a girl telling you she has herpes. Would you, or her vagina is really loose and dry? I don't know. Like, would you sit there and say, "Oh, let's go to a doctor's appointment and go get this vaginal restoration cream or whatever"? Well, you might not be turned on anymore. You might say, "Ew," like, I don't know.
They do have pills for women for libido, so I think it probably is not as well spoken as it is for men, but I heard it works just as well. I would be curious if the roles were reversed. I'd be like, hey, you need something to get you going. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
Or let's keep it simple. How about if she stinks or body odor? Like, how, like, maybe your first, second, third date, and you're like, wow, she really has a smell. Would you tell her like straight up, or would you wait a while? I mean, some people do.
Hey, that's a good question. I would ask probing question, like say,
What's your favorite soap?
yeah.
Or the next day, you just give them like a care package of like, woo.
Like, hey, let's take a shower together.
Let me see how you show. We're not making fun of anybody. It's just funny. Like,
let's wash each other's body parts.
Let's brush each other's teeth.
Let's do it like that.
You wash me and I wash you.
Right.
You gotta get in here, girl.
You know what I mean?
You know the lips back. You ever use Dr. Bronner's? Okay, here you go. No, it's not funny because there's some people that have body odors and they can't control it. Like that is literally just their DNA and they have like a funny smell.
And their diet, like what they do, they drink water? Are they,
pineapples?
The meat eater? Are they, do they do alkaline? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Do they wipe back to front?
Are they an alcoholic?
When you said alkaline, I thought she was gonna say alcohol, and I was gonna look. It's mixed with pineapple juice. I love my
water. This is funny because we were only off for like, how long were we off for? Like a week?
1 week.
That 1 week.
I feel like we was off for like a month. Like these weeks and days we just together.
It's 2020, girl. I told you we've been in 2020 for 10 years. This shit been forever. This is the longest year ever. I'm over it. I'm drinking coconut rum with pineapple juice. Yeah, it's good.
Look, we such bad influences. We got Joe over there texting his girlfriend during the podcast. We need you to be professional, sir.
I am professional. I'm multitasking.
That's right, Joe. So let's get back to this being vulnerable.
Bad influence because Joe used to have a water bottle. Well, maybe it's not us. Maybe it's his girlfriend. Maybe she told
I was gonna say that ain't got nothing to do with us. She said after you finish that podcast, baby, you already know. And it gets dark at like 5, 6 o'clock. So.
But I will back to like the topic of vulnerability because I feel like all of us were kind of like delaying this topic. We were supposed to do this last week and we took off. Like nobody wanted to be vulnerable. Nobody wants to talk about vulnerability. And I feel like for me, I think it's a very it's a touchy thing. But like I said earlier, I don't really feel like vulnerability to me serves any purpose other than for the other person's ego. And only time will tell. Like I feel like if I believe the person is worthy, then I might give them something, about me that, if they've passed other tests and they haven't, try to use things against me, then
go get me a cheesecake.
I feel like, being completely vulnerable and exposed in a relationship is not wise. Personally, I don't believe it's wise,
Well, I mean, I think for us and as a guy, I think it's inevitable for us because key thing about having a woman for us is their sensitivity and their compassion and things of that nature. And we want to be able to express those things that we can't express in normal society. We want to be able to express that to a woman that we're with.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. Because I saw a meme the other day. And it talked about it's like when a woman is in control of her emotions, she leaves room and gives space for a man to be vulnerable with her. And so I just wanted to kind of, I guess, get an idea of what did that mean to you? Like, when a woman kind of like mimics you in the sense of being almost emotionless? Does,
Mhm.
does it make you feel like safer to
Person-
take the lead and express emotion? Because, or if she's like super emotional and she like show like cries in front of you and like, what does that mean? Like, what does
That's
that?
annoying. Oh,
it-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's different. It's different for guys. So a person that's emotionless is not a good. It's not a good look for me because it makes me. I expect women to be a little more emotional. Like, I'm gonna be the stoic guy or whatever. I'm gonna be the person that's gonna be more stoic and a little less emotional. Um, and then like for a woman like that to do that, I experienced that before, and it was I would never reveal anything to her. It was harder for me to say anything to her because I was like, she reminds me of a tomboy,
Thank you.
and that's how I took it.
Sorry. I had my personal bartender bring me a drink.
I'm like, who is she saying thank you to? You're like, thank you.
And,
Thank you very much. Here, put the juice back.
for a person,
Sorry, y'all.
for a girl that's more emotional, I think for a girl that's more emotional, she's more. I think she's more apt to listening. I probably would express something more to her because I know that the things that I'm saying are going to impact her more than a person that doesn't have emotion. That's emotionless.
Okay.
So I think I would, as a man looking at a woman, I would expect the woman to be a more emotional and not emotionless.
But
Yeah.
what do you consider emotional? Because there's some women that are like overly emotional, like they cry about everything and they're always like, like that's to me, I could not deal with that if I was anybody, guy, girl, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever. So I feel like some people, some women and men, because there's men now are like really whiny too, and I can't. Two things I can't deal with: a whiny person and like someone that's super duper codependent, always needs you for every little thing. Like that is just like too much for me. So what would you consider like overly emotional? Because there's some women, like I said, they cry about everything.
yeah, someone that would probably cries about everything, and that would be too much. You know what I'm saying? Like you want somebody because the key thing is, yeah, I'm strong, but I need you to be if something goes down with me, I need you to be strong for me too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? To be my best support that I have if something goes down with me. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not emotionally there and you're emotionally super extra weak, not saying it's a weakness, but just super emotional and you can't bring it together when it matters or when it counts, then that's not going to be that's going to be ideal for me. You know what I'm saying?
Like crying during sex, would you feel
I think
like
that's a compliment. So yeah, that's great.
oh,
Why would that be a compliment?
Oh,
exactly, nigga, you hurting me. No, I'm joking.
But I mean, the
you
reason I ask is because it doesn't.
it doesn't mean the same thing.
It depends.
Like that, you're giving me a migraine. It doesn't mean that your penis is so large that she's crying. Like you might have,
Trigger some shit.
yeah, you might have triggered something in her. She just thinking about the next dude, and now she crying. Like I wouldn't be flattered if I
Well,
was.
sometimes it could also mean that shit feels so good that like that little tear just be right here.
Like I ain't never let him go.
I ain't never felt so good, daddy. But yeah, I wouldn't take it as a compliment either because you never know what she's crying about. But in that case, would you ask her?
It depends on the tears.
If it stops right here, it feels good. But if it's like pouring down,
Yeah,
she got issues.
Yeah, issues real.
He like hit that crazy button.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna slice your tires when I'm done.
No, I saw a meme that was like, it was like, you know, it's good when you go outside and slash your own tires just to spend the night.
I ain't going nowhere.
But no, as far as the vulnerability, I like how we just turn this thing into like a whole comedy session, and this is supposed to be like a serious topic.
Because you know me, first of all, things can be serious, but I cannot. Like life is too serious. I can't. Like, why we gotta be serious about everything? Like, yeah, you can be vulnerable, but that shit is funny. Like, I mean, really, opening up to somebody when you sit back and think about it, like, I really told this nigga about like my childhood trauma. Like, I really told him that I'm afraid of clowns and that I really love him and I cried during sex. That's some funny shit when you sit back and think about it. And I think that's like all about being in a relationship. I like playful relationships.
It's funny when I feel like it's funny when you think about like how much you told a person and how much power you gave them, and they
like this.
Wasn't even
you take your shit and just throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, like act like it's not even that big of a deal. Like I was really hurt. Like I really had feelings for this person. I didn't even care.
And he didn't even have a bus pass.
Or a driver's license or them.
Nothing.
I told you my left titty is bigger than my right titty, and I'm very sensitive about that. And then you like, it ain't no big deal. I just balance it out, make it balance out.
But I feel like too, like people, like as humans, as you know, sometimes we might be aliens. You never know. But as humans, I feel like we be like kind of feeling sensitive and vulnerable about the dumbest thing. Look, y'all, I feel like we just be like sensitive about the dumbest things. Like if you was to tell somebody else, like that you like your best friend, like my pinky toe is now ugly. You be like, girl, ain't nothing wrong with your damn pinky toe. Like what the hell is wrong with you? Like, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times people take ourselves too seriously. And so you think that, okay, if I tell somebody something about, okay, this is, I feel like the number one is like the number one thing people have is like being unlovable. Like something about me, my darkest secret is why I'm a piece of shit. Like why I'm like not lovable and not worthy of love, whatever. That's people's biggest fear. Most humans, mere mortals.
Right.
But I think if we could get over that and we feel like, we know we can understand that everybody has a piece of them like that. And that's what makes you normal. It's like, okay. Like, you don't have to walk around with the shit on your t-shirt. Like, this is my insecurity and blah, blah, blah. But if you deal with it, then it's no longer a trigger and it's not really a vulnerability anymore. Think about it. Like,
so let me ask you a question. Do you think, I hear this a lot, even I tend to use it. When you say, when you meet people, and you say when you meet somebody and you're compatible and you're shore each other's weaknesses up. And in order for you to be the ultimate couple and you would shore each other's weaknesses up, you would cap off each other's weakness. You would
example, like let's say I suck in math or whatever, and then my fiance, my husband is like
illiterate.
No,
he's really good at math.
Like a calculator, But then I'm kind of leery about that because then it's like if he's too good in something that I'm horrible in, then it could turn into like codependency, and it's like now I can't live without him, and it's like,
but that's a you problem. That codependency, that's shit. fucking drives me crazy. Learn math. Like, that's how I feel about everything. Like, if you're not good in something, don't be dependent on someone else to be your strength all the time. It's okay. Like, I feel like a man should be like strong with the taking out the garbage, doing the car shit. But back in my mind, I know how to do all that. I'm just not doing it.
But that's the thing. Like, I was kind of just giving an example with Joe. But it's like, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's, better in things that you might suck at, it doesn't mean that you don't know how to do those things. But now, why even bother? Like, why do I have to take out the garbage? Like,
when
he loves to take out the garbage. Why do I have to clean? If he loves, like, if he has OCD and, so I kind of feel like that's the thing. Like, my biggest fear, like, is becoming codependent on somebody. Like, I feel like that would be my vulnerability. Like, depending on someone to do things that I'm good with doing by myself. Like, but then when you in a relationship and you kind of with the give and take, it's like you become dependent on them, right?
I mean, you could, or what you could do is to offset that is you could take the lead in that, and also at the same time teach them how to be better at it, because you could be like, look, I'm not going to be here all the time. So the times that you're not here, that I'm not here, this is what you need to learn how to do. And I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm not going to show you every single time, but and we're going to eliminate the easy stuff like taking out the garbage, because you got to take out the garbage. You don't need it. You got to take out the garbage.
I ain't taking out the garbage.
But like, let's say about finances. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're not really good at finances. Cool. Let me show you. This is my method of what I do to make me good at managing our finances. I'm gonna show you what I do. So just in case if I'm not around and you don't know, you'll know what to do in case I'm here around or available for to give advice. You know what I'm saying? I think you should be able to teach at the same time and still take the lead.
Like, now Joe got a girlfriend. He a relationship expert.
Okay, Derek Jackson. You gotta teach one.
No, but more seriousness, Joe has always been like.
No, I know. We know we tease. That's our thing. We tease Joe, and it's cute. But like Mel said though, in a relationship, that's the beauty of a relationship. I think relationships are all about using each other. I know it sounds wrong, but you use each other in relationships. You're good at this. I'm not good at this. I'm going to use you for that, and vice versa. If you can't do A, B, and C, then I'll do it. And if you're not willing to allow that person to use you to an extent, then to me, you can't be in a relationship, because that's what it is. Like,
my favorite quote is, "If you can't be useless, like, who wants to be useless?" We are here to be used,
we are.
We're here to be used, and as long as I feel like it has to be a commensurate relationship. Like, I have to benefit from you, you have to benefit from me.
Right.
That's how we have a nice relationship. Yeah,
yes.
but when it's like someone is like kind of like a parasite and they're not doing anything to benefit me, of course I'm not going to want to be vulnerable with them. I'm not going to want to go the extra mile and do anything for them, because what am I getting out the deal?
Nothing. Heartache, pain, being annoyed,
Yep.
So
at the end of the day, it's about what can you get out of this situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if you're happy with what you're getting out of it, that's what makes things work. So, you know what I'm saying? And I think you should be able to express that. But I think vulnerability is still important to get to a point of getting there, because it's like therapy. You know what I'm saying? You're vulnerable to a therapist. You rather be vulnerable to a stranger, but you won't be vulnerable to a person that you fucking suck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Ooh, that sounds good. Yes, because a stranger it doesn't matter. Like, you're not living with that person. You can just let it all out. You can unload everything without that feeling of, damn, I'm putting this burden on this person that I got to sleep with now. So he's gonna be scratching me on my back with his big toe all night because I got under his skin, you know? So I feel like that's why therapy is like, to me, is like the best thing, because you have that third person that you can just like unload all that extra baggage, all that extra shit. You could just give it to the therapist and, you know, go home to your loved ones without that extra baggage or that feeling of whatever you're feeling that day. So in a relationship, leave that shit at the door. I'm one that definitely, if I'm having a bad day at work, I bring it home. So I need to learn how to like leave it at the door and not bring it home to the loved ones, because that's me. But I guess that's me not being vulnerable, because I don't know how to sit down and say, I had a bad day today. I need a hug. I won't say that. I'll just grab my bottle and pour a drink, and then I might go on Facebook, or I might call Mel or whatever, but I won't really like just tuck it all in, meditate, think about it, read a blog. I don't know, but I don't really like that.
You know what I think about as far as like, you know, I forgot. I was gonna say something while we was talking, and then
it just fell out. It bottomed out.
Yeah, that's me. But what I will say is, I feel like being vulnerable and like talking about your problems, nobody wants to feel like they're a burden.
Right.
Yeah,
Like sometimes we hold things in. I think I mentioned like the whole therapy thing. Like I know I got a therapist. I feel like sometimes I don't have time. Like I only talk stuff for an hour. I feel like I need two sometimes, because be a lot of stuff going on. But I don't know. I just feel like people can't really understand like how you see the world if they don't know how you experience the world. Like I might tell y'all like something really annoyed me, and y'all might not think it's a big deal because I don't see the world how I see it. So I think that's another part of being vulnerable, is like is you're risking looking stupid and feeling stupid, like you're caring as much as you do about something that might not even matter to somebody.
Right.
But then if they love you and they care about you, it will matter to them too.
So let me ask you a question though. So it's easy for us to be like talk about the negatives about being vulnerable person. What about when you are vulnerable to a person? What could be the best thing that come out of that?
Connecting like on a different level, like, you know, like she said, you might see the world or something a different way, and when you open up and say, hey, I really love or dislike whatever that makes you feel vulnerable, if you tap into that, and then you can experience that with that person, so the next time they're experiencing that, you can like feel it on the same level as them, or pretend to, because we be pretending a lot in relationships. Let's keep it real. Like everything is not always like I really feel it. It's like, you know, I'm gonna just ride this out with you. So that's a positive. And I feel like it makes sex better. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What I was gonna say was, I guess a positive, because y'all know I've been cynical the whole damn show.
No.
Like a positive for me would be like, it would make me feel alive. Like it would make me giving up my power to someone would, even if I expose like a real vulnerability, like I would probably feel free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would probably feel like not like I'm holding on so tight to something that nobody else knows, that I have this secret that, you know, like I would really feel free. Like I would be in the middle of a field, like, you know, the Summer Eve commercial.
Yeah.
Yes. Running in the fields with a sundress on, like no underwear.
Wow.
Just
Yeah.
free.
No, she's absolutely right. I know you want to say something, Joe, but it's true. Like women, especially after you have kids, your breast sag, your stomach looks crazy, your ass might like lose its shape. And if those are the things that make you feel vulnerable and your man is just like loving up on you every little inch of your flat ass and your flabby stomach, boy, like the sex, everything is just gonna be 1,000 times better. Like, you like my flatty patties? What? You like my saggy, socky titties? Like, you're just gonna feel so good. And it's important. I know like everybody's on this body positive thing, but like deep down inside, like that's a lot of women's problems, like our bodies after we have a baby. And if a man is like truly in love with you and truly is like, listen, I love everything about you, and he's really like into you, oh my God. You done unleashed the freak, you unleashed the love, you unleashed it all. Like you would get a true, like just perfect bond with that woman, in my opinion.
And it's like Niagara Falls. When you're not, holding on to things, and you're really, free.
Yeah.
It makes everything juicy.
You said everything juicy.
Wow. Go ahead, Joe. I know you guys.
Oh no, I'm listening to y'all. I mean, I think that, I think it's valuable to be vulnerable. I think it's more valuable for men than it is for women because you expect it from women. You know what I'm saying? And you expect women to tell you about their insecurities and their fears and things of that nature. and but I think it's more important especially for men, us to be able to be vulnerable with our women. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it comes down to, having the opportunity, because there's a lot of cold shoulder dudes out there. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't gonna tell you nothing. They ain't gonna break down nothing. And then as women, I think you feel like that might be a missing piece for you to be close with your man. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be like, oh, is these cold-hearted men out here, and they don't care about nothing, and blah blah blah. He don't even care about me, and having you guessing, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's important for a man to have an opportunity to be vulnerable with his woman at some point. And I think it's more important for men than it is for women because, like I said, with a woman, I expect a woman that is gonna be vulnerable, is gonna tell me about her fears and insecurities and things of that nature.
And I will say that I have to agree with you. No, I'll never agree with you. But I would say it's important, as far as like in a relationship, because women, we have like groups, we got our besties, we got the hair salon, we got the nail salon, we got groups on the internet where we could be vulnerable. We could tell each other our like things that we're going through. And I don't really feel like men have that. They don't really have that safe space. And so when they're in the company of a woman, especially someone that they care about, and they're like, they call it pillow talk or whatever, but that is the safe place for the man because he's like literally naked. He can be himself and talk about things that bother him throughout the day or whatever. Then he's not gonna feel safe with you. He's not gonna see you in his future if you don't make him feel safe.
Right.
So I think for men, yes, it is important, for them to feel safe with the woman they're intimate with. But also for women, I think it's easier to not be vulnerable with men because we can get it other places. Like being vulnerable for a woman is just, unless selling sex or whatever, and you can turn that off. Having sex and opening your legs to a man, opening up yourself to be vulnerable. So that automatically happens. But we also have other places to get that from if men is not providing that. With men, if we're not allowing him to be vulnerable, it's like he's assed out. Like he can't. It's no where he gonna go. He gonna go to the barbershop and be like, "Mom,
no, that's when he finds a side chick, somebody that he could be vulnerable with, and that's when he cheats. I mean, they're gonna cheat anyway. But I mean, I feel like that's when they really full-fledged like find a whole nother chick, like somebody that's gonna allow him to open up and be all sensitive and not sensitive, because I don't like that word. It's not sensitive. It's just being human. It's just being.
It is sensitive.
Yeah, but like people take that word as like, oh, a pussy, but it's not. It's like you just being you. You being human. Everybody has feelings, and I feel like the world will be a better place if everybody will just love each other and allow each other to express those feelings without judgment, and just like hold each other down. It's okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to have feelings. It's okay for a man to feel like, you know. I'm sorry. I just like lost my train of thought. It's okay for a man to like, you know. But yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I agree. It's okay. It's okay for men to talk about their feelings. It's okay for women to not want to talk about their feelings. Like, you know, we're inside. We shouldn't have to, you know, live up to stereotypes too of what is vulnerability. Like, as a woman, I don't feel like I should necessarily have to be vulnerable with every man that I meet, everybody that I give my phone number to. Like, that's not my responsibility to validate you and make you feel like I trust you, because I don't.
That's right. That's right.
Secondly, it's not, you know, it's a stereotype to believe that men are incapable of being vulnerable or expressing emotion, because they can. They absolutely can if they want to. Like, that's it.
Right. That's it.
Yes. So that wraps up our weekly show today about being vulnerable and how we feel about it, and you know what you guys think. Definitely leave us some comments, some feedback. Hit us up if you want to be a guest on the show. We do promotions. We do all that good shit. So yes.
Hit up any one of us.
Thank you. Yeah, any one of us. But thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable today and letting us know your deep, darkest secrets and what it takes to like peel back some of those layers to see who we really are and how we express that in relationships.
Right. Deal and manage. Absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely a good topic. Definitely a great topic.
It really was. And I had fun today. Like, you know, I'm always laughing at cheesing, but it was fun. I'm like, it was fun. This is the most adult contact I get, especially being in fake quarantine. Like, I mean, I'm over it. But yes. And we will be back next Sunday around 6-ish because, you know, color time, CP time. So we ain't never on time, but just tune in around 6:05, 6:10, 6:15, and we will be here with another dope topic, another dope hairdo, another dope top, and a drink as always.
And a dope necklace.
And a dope necklace. But yes, thank you for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week on MelBee See in a Cup of Joe.
All right.
Later, guys.
Later.